My hands were still shaking when I opened the door. I didn't expect to see anyone, especially not her. My name is Ryan. I'm 26 years old, and I work as a paramedic here in Portland, Oregon. 3 days ago, my girlfriend Emily walked out of my life. Yesterday, her mother walked into it. And today, I'm standing here trying to figure out how everything I thought I knew just exploded into 1,000 pieces. Let me back up. Emily and I met 4 years ago at a charity marathon. She was running for some environmental cause, and I was there with the medical team in case anyone collapsed. She did collapse, actually, right at mile 22. Dehydration. I gave her water, checked her vitals, and told her she was pushing herself too hard. She looked up at me with those fierce green eyes and said, "I don't quit things." 2 weeks later, we were dating. For the first 2 years, everything felt perfect. Emily was passionate about saving the planet, about making a difference. She volunteered at animal shelters, organized beach cleanups, posted constantly about climate change. I loved that fire in her. It made me want to be better, do more, matter more. But somewhere around year 3, that fire started burning me instead of warming me. She became obsessed with her activism. Every conversation turned into a lecture about carbon footprints or plastic waste. Every date got canceled because she had some protest to attend or some petition to organize. I supported her causes, I really did. But I started feeling like I was dating a movement, not a person. Like I was just another supporter in her audience, not her partner. I tried talking to her about it, multiple times. I'd say, "Emily, can we just have one normal weekend? Just us? No campaigns, no rallies, just being together?" And she'd look at me like I asked her to betray everything she believed in. She'd say things like, "The planet is dying, Ryan. How can you think about normal weekends when the ice caps are melting?" And I'd feel guilty for even asking. Then last Friday happened. She came to my apartment after I finished a brutal 24-hour shift. I was exhausted, barely functioning, just wanted to crash on the couch. She didn't even ask how my day was. She just launched into this speech about how she got accepted into some environmental fellowship in Costa Rica. 6 months. She was leaving in 2 weeks. I sat there trying to process. 6 months? Emily, we haven't even talked about this. What about us? She looked at me with zero emotion and said the words that broke everything. "Ryan, I need to prioritize what really matters." I stared at her. "And I don't matter?" She hesitated for exactly 3 seconds. That hesitation told me everything. "You matter," she said quietly. "But this is bigger than us. This is about the future of the entire planet." I stood up, feeling something inside me crack. "Then go save the planet, Emily. Because apparently saving us isn't worth your time." She left. No fight, no tears, no begging me to understand. She just walked out like I was a subscription she decided to cancel. For 3 days, I barely moved. Called in sick to work, which I never do. Sat in the dark eating cold pizza, replaying 4 years of memories, trying to figure out where I went wrong. My roommate Marcus tried getting me to go out. "Man, you need fresh air. You need to move on." But how do you move on from someone you built your entire life around? How do you just stop loving someone because they stopped choosing you? Then yesterday morning, my doorbell rang at 8 a.m. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened the door in my sweatpants and old t-shirt, probably looking like complete garbage. Standing there was Charlotte, Emily's mother. I'd met her maybe 10 times over 4 years. Family dinners, holidays, Emily's graduation party. She was always kind to me, always asked thoughtful questions about my work, always seemed genuinely interested when I talked. But we were never close. Just the usual polite relationship you have with your girlfriend's parent. She was wearing jeans and a simple blue sweater, her dark hair pulled back, and she looked nervous. Really nervous. "Ryan," she said softly, "can I come in? I need to talk to you." I stepped aside, confused but too tired to question it. She walked into my messy apartment, saw the pizza boxes and empty water bottles, and her face filled with something that looked like pain. She turned to face me. "I heard what happened. Emily told me about Costa Rica." I nodded, not trusting my voice. Charlotte sat down on my couch, and I sat in the chair across from her, waiting. The silence stretched out until it felt suffocating. Then she spoke, and her words changed everything. "Ryan, I'm going to say something completely inappropriate. Something a mother probably shouldn't say. But I'm going to say it anyway because I'm 51 years old. I've been divorced for 7 years, and I'm done pretending I don't feel things just because they're complicated." My heart started pounding. I had no idea where this was going. She looked directly at me, her eyes steady and serious. "My daughter is an idiot for letting you go, and I'm here because I can't stop thinking about you." The room tilted. I was certain I misheard. "What?" "I know how this sounds," Charlotte continued quickly. "I know this is Emily's mother talking. I know you just went through a breakup. I know there's a 25-year age gap between us. I know all the reasons this is insane. But Ryan, I've watched you for 4 years. The way you treated my daughter, even when she took you for granted. The way you show up for people. The way you talked about saving lives like it was the most important thing in the world. And I kept thinking, why can't Emily see what she has?" I couldn't speak. My brain was completely short-circuiting. Charlotte stood up, wringing her hands. "After my divorce, I promised myself I'd never ignore real connections again. My ex-husband and I spent 23 years being polite strangers, going through the motions. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to pretend I don't feel something real just because the situation is complicated." She pulled out a piece of paper from her pocket and placed it on my coffee table. Her phone number. "I'm not asking for an answer right now," she said. "I'm not trying to take advantage of you when you're hurt. I just needed to be honest. If you want to talk, call me. If you don't, I'll understand." Then she left. Just like that. I sat there, staring at that piece of paper for probably an hour. My girlfriend's mother just confessed feelings for me. 24 hours after said girlfriend dumped me. This was insane. Completely insane. But also, some weird part of me felt seen for the first time in months. I thought about Charlotte. About how she always listened when I talked about difficult calls at work. How she remembered small details from previous conversations. How she asked about my mom's surgery and followed up weeks later to see how she was recovering. Things Emily never did. Emily was always thinking about the next cause, the next campaign. But Charlotte noticed people. Really noticed them. 3 days passed. I stared at that phone number probably 1,000 times. Picked up my phone, put it down. Wrote texts, deleted them. This was Emily's mother. If I did this, there would be massive fallout. Emily would hate me. Her family would judge me. My friends would think I lost my mind. But another voice in my head kept saying, "When was the last time someone chose you first?" When was the last time someone saw your worth? Finally, on Wednesday night, I sent a simple text. Coffee tomorrow? Her response came back in less than a minute. Yes, please. We met at this quiet cafe on the east side, away from anywhere we might run into people we knew. Charlotte got there first. She was wearing a green dress that made her look elegant and nervous and hopeful all at once. We ordered coffee and sat by the window. For the first 10 minutes, we talked about safe things: weather, traffic, how weird Portland had gotten lately. Then Charlotte set down her cup and looked at me. Ryan, before we go any further, I need you to know something. I didn't come to your apartment because Emily left you. I came because I finally had permission to be honest. I've felt this way for over a year. A year? I repeated. She nodded. Remember last Thanksgiving? You and Emily came over for dinner. She spent the entire meal on her phone coordinating some protest. You kept trying to engage her in conversation, and she kept brushing you off. After you left, I sat in my kitchen feeling furious. Furious at her for treating you like background noise, and furious at myself for noticing you in a way I shouldn't. I remembered that Thanksgiving. I remembered feeling invisible. I started noticing other things, Charlotte continued. How your face lit up when you talked about saving someone's life. How you always helped clean up after meals without being asked. How you remembered my birthday when Emily forgot. And I thought, this is exactly the kind of man I wish I'd married 30 years ago. Her honesty was overwhelming. No one had ever talked about me like this. Like I was valuable. Like I was worth choosing. Charlotte, I'm 26, I said quietly. You're 51. People are going to think this is crazy. I know, she said. And if you can't handle that, I understand. But I'm done living my life based on what other people think. I wasted 23 years in a marriage where I felt invisible. I'm not wasting any more time pretending I don't feel something real. I looked at her, really looked at her. The way she held her coffee cup with both hands, the nervous hope in her eyes, the way she wasn't pushing me, just being honest. I don't want to walk away, I said. Relief washed over her face like sunrise. Yeah? Yeah, I confirmed. But I need you to understand something. I'm still hurt. I'm still processing everything with Emily. I can't promise this will be easy or that I won't mess it up. I'm not asking for easy, Charlotte said. I'm just asking for real. We spent the next 3 hours talking. About her divorce, about my family, about what we wanted from life. She told me about feeling invisible in her marriage, about rebuilding her life after it ended, about learning to value herself again. I told her about growing up with a single mom, about why I became a paramedic, about feeling like I was never enough for Emily. It was the most honest conversation I'd had in years. When we left the cafe, it was dark outside. We walked to the parking lot, and Charlotte turned to me. Thank you for giving this a chance. Thank you for seeing me, I said. She reached up and touched my face gently. Then she kissed me. Soft, tentative, like she was afraid I might pull away. I didn't pull away. Over the next month, Charlotte and I saw each other constantly. Dinner dates, morning coffee, late-night phone calls. We kept it quiet. I didn't tell Marcus. She didn't tell her friends. We existed in this private bubble where the age gap didn't matter, where Emily's opinion didn't matter, where nothing mattered except us. But bubbles always burst. 6 weeks in, Charlotte invited me to her company's fundraiser gala. She worked in hospital administration, and this was a big deal for her. "I know it's public," she said. "I know people will see us together, but I'm tired of hiding. Are you ready for that?" I thought about it for maybe 5 seconds. "Yeah, I'm ready." The gala was at this fancy hotel downtown. When we walked in holding hands, I felt the room shift. Conversations paused, eyes turned. I could practically hear people's thoughts. "Is that her son? No, wait, they're holding hands. Oh my God, is that her boyfriend? How old is he?" Charlotte squeezed my hand tighter, like she knew exactly what I was feeling. Her colleague Jennifer approached first. She was about Charlotte's age, with sharp eyes and a smile that didn't reach them. "Charlotte, who's this?" "This is Ryan," Charlotte said firmly. "My boyfriend." Jennifer's smile faltered. "Your boyfriend? Isn't he about Emily's age?" "He's 26, Charlotte said calmly. "And yes, I'm aware of the age difference. Anything else you'd like to say?" The conversation around us died completely. Jennifer's face went red. "I just think it's an interesting choice given the circumstances." "The circumstances being that I'm finally happy?" Charlotte asked. "Yes, Jennifer, it's very interesting." I loved her in that moment. Loved how she didn't shrink, didn't apologize, didn't act like we were doing something wrong. The rest of the night was a mixture of whispers and stares, and a few brave souls who actually talked to us like normal people. One older man, probably in his 70s, came up and said, "Good for you two. Life's too short to worry about what everyone thinks." On the drive home, Charlotte was quiet. "You okay?" I asked. "I'm worried I embarrassed you," she admitted. "Embarrassed me? Charlotte, you defended us in front of everyone. That's the opposite of embarrassing." She looked at me with wet eyes. "I just keep thinking about what people are saying. What Emily will say when she finds out." "Emily's in Costa Rica saving the rainforest," I said. "She made her choice. We're making ours." 2 weeks later, my phone rang at 3 a.m. I was just getting off a shift, exhausted and ready to crash. The number was international. Costa Rica. My stomach dropped. I answered. "Hello?" "You're sleeping with my mother?" Emily's voice was pure venom. My heart stopped. "Emily, don't you dare try to explain this," she cut me off. "Jennifer's daughter saw you two at the gala, sent pictures. Everyone's talking about it. How could you do this to me?" I felt anger rise in my chest. "Do this to you? Emily, you left me. You chose Costa Rica over us. You don't get to be mad about what I do now." "She's my mother, Ryan. My mother. That's not moving on. That's revenge." "This isn't revenge," I said firmly. "This is me finally being with someone who actually wants me. Someone who doesn't make me feel like an inconvenience. Someone who chooses me first." Silence on the other end. Then, quieter. "How long has this been going on?" "Since you left. Charlotte came to see me. She was honest about her feelings, and I decided to take a chance on something real." "Something real," Emily repeated bitterly. "She's 51 years old, Ryan. What kind of future can you possibly have?" "A better one than I had with you," I said, and hung up. My hands were shaking. Charlotte called 5 minutes later. "Emily just called me screaming, said horrible things. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this." "Don't apologize. I said. "We didn't do anything wrong." "She said she's coming back early. She wants to talk to both of us." My stomach tightened. "When?" "Next week." The next 7 days felt like waiting for a bomb to explode. Charlotte and I talked every day, trying to prepare for whatever Emily would say. But how do you prepare for that conversation? Emily showed up at Charlotte's house on Saturday afternoon. I was already there. We decided facing her together was better than separately. When Emily walked through the door, she looked different. Thinner, tanned from the Costa Rican sun, her hair longer. But her eyes were cold. She looked at me first, then at her mother, then back at me. "I can't believe this is real," she said. "Emily," Charlotte started, but Emily held up her hand. "Mom, please, let me talk." She turned to me. "Ryan, I know I hurt you. I know I took you for granted. I know I chose my work over you repeatedly. But this is cruel. You had to know how much this would hurt me." "Hurt you?" I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Emily, you told me I didn't matter as much as your fellowship. You walked away without even trying to make it work. And now you're upset because I found someone who actually values me?" "Someone who's my mother," Emily shot back. "Do you understand how messed up that is? How awkward family gatherings will be? How people will look at us?" "I think," Charlotte said quietly, "this isn't really about Ryan and me. This is about you realizing you made a mistake." Emily's face crumbled. "Of course I made a mistake. I've been in Costa Rica for 2 months realizing what an idiot I was. I was going to call you, Ryan. I was going to apologize, ask if we could try again. And then I find out you're with my mom." The room went silent. I felt something twist in my chest. Part of me, the part that loved Emily for 4 years, wanted to comfort her. But the rest of me knew the truth. "Emily, even if Charlotte and I weren't together, we couldn't try again. Because nothing would change. You'd still choose your causes over us. You'd still make me feel like I'm asking too much by wanting a partner who shows up." Tears rolled down Emily's face. "That's not fair." "It's completely fair," I said gently. "You're an amazing person, Emily. You're going to change the world. But I need someone who can change their plans for me sometimes too. And that's never going to be you." Emily wiped her eyes and looked at Charlotte. "Mom, how could you? He was mine." "He was never yours," Charlotte said firmly, but not unkindly. "You never treated him like he was. You treated him like he was convenient. And when someone treats a good person like that, they don't get to be surprised when someone else sees their worth." Emily stared at us for a long moment. Then she grabbed her bag and walked to the door. Before leaving, she turned back one last time. "I hope you two are happy. I really do. Because I'm not coming back here. Not for holidays, not for birthdays, not for anything as long as this is happening." Then she left. Charlotte broke down crying. I held her while she sobbed into my shoulder. "I just lost my daughter," she whispered. "I know," I said. "I'm so sorry." "Are you sure this is worth it?" she asked, pulling back to look at me. Are you sure I'm worth loot? She left. Charlotte broke down crying. I held her while she sobbed into my shoulder. I just lost my daughter, she whispered. I know, I said. I'm so sorry. Are you sure this is worth it? She asked, pulling back to look at me. Are you sure I'm worth losing your daughter over? I wiped the tears from her face. Charlotte, you didn't make me choose. Emily made that choice when she walked away. And yes, you're worth it. You're worth all of it. 3 months passed. Emily blocked both of us on everything. Charlotte's friends were split, some supportive, some judgmental. My brother thought I was having a midlife crisis at 26. But we kept going, because when we were together, none of the outside noise mattered. Then one night, Charlotte called me, sounding strange. Can you come over? I need to tell you something. My heart dropped. Those words. I drove to her house faster than I should have. When I got there, she was pacing in her living room. What's wrong? I asked. She stopped pacing and looked at me with tears in her eyes. I'm pregnant. The world stopped spinning. You're what? I know, it's impossible. I'm 51. I haven't had a period in months. I thought it was menopause. But I felt weird, took a test, and it was positive. Went to the doctor yesterday. They confirmed it. 8 weeks. I sat down hard on her couch. Pregnant. Charlotte was pregnant. With my baby. Ryan, say something, she whispered. I looked up at her terrified face. And I started laughing. Not cruel laughter, but the kind that comes when life throws something so absurd at you that you can't process it any other way. This is the most insane thing that's ever happened to me, I said, still laughing. And I'm a paramedic. I've seen some crazy stuff. Charlotte's face crumbled. If you don't want this, I understand. I know we haven't been together long. I know this complicates everything even more. I know I'm way too old to be having a baby. I stood up and pulled her into my arms. Charlotte, stop. Are you kidding me? Emily wouldn't even talk about kids. Said she was too focused on saving the world to think about that. And here you are, 51 years old, pregnant with my baby. This is terrifying and amazing and completely insane, and I wouldn't change it. She pulled back, searching my face. You mean that? I mean that. We're having a baby. Holy hell, we're having a baby! We both started crying and laughing at the same time, holding each other in the middle of her living room, trying to understand how our lives just completely changed. The next few months were chaos. Doctor's appointments, preparing for a high-risk pregnancy, dealing with people's reactions. When I told Marcus, he said, "Bro, you're 26 and about to have a baby with your ex-girlfriend's 51-year-old mother. This is either the best decision you've ever made or the worst. And we won't know for like 20 years. Charlotte's friends were split. Some cut her off completely. Others surprised us by being supportive. One of her colleagues said, "Life is weird. Might as well embrace the weird." We didn't hear from Emily at all. Charlotte tried reaching out twice. Both times, no response. It broke her heart. But we kept moving forward. 6 months into the pregnancy, Charlotte and I got married. Small ceremony. Just a few close friends and my mom who flew in from Ohio. She pulled me aside before the ceremony and said, "Ryan, I've never seen you this happy. I don't care about the age gap. I don't care about the complicated situation. I care that you found someone who loves you the way you deserve." Charlotte gave birth to a baby girl in March. We named her Grace. The delivery was complicated. Charlotte's age made everything high risk, but she and Grace both came through perfectly. When they placed Grace in my arms for the first time, I looked at Charlotte lying exhausted in the hospital bed and thought, this is what I was waiting for. This is what love actually looks like. Emily sent a single text message 3 weeks after Grace was born. I heard you had a baby. Congratulations. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you're happy. Charlotte cried when she read it. Not sad tears, but something more complicated. Relief, maybe. Or closure. Do you think she'll ever come around? I asked. Maybe, Charlotte said. Maybe not. But I can't live my life waiting for her approval anymore. I have you and Grace now. That's enough. A year later, we're still here. Still together. Still dealing with stares and whispers and people's opinions. Grace is the happiest baby I've ever seen. Charlotte jokes that she's too old to be chasing a toddler around, but I've never seen her more alive. Last week, Marcus came over for dinner. He held Grace and looked at me. I was wrong, man. I thought you were making a mistake. But this, whatever this is, it works. You guys are happy. Real happy. We are, I said. And I meant it. Emily still hasn't come back. Charlotte says maybe someday she will. Maybe she'll meet Grace and realize that love doesn't follow rules or timelines or age gaps. That sometimes the most complicated situations lead to the most beautiful outcomes. I'm 27 now. Charlotte is 52. We have a 1-year-old daughter, a house in the suburbs, and a life that nobody saw coming, including us. People still judge. They probably always will. But when I come home after a 24-hour shift and see Charlotte holding Grace, both of them smiling at me like I'm the most important person in the world, I don't care about any of it. Because for the first time in my life, I'm not just someone's convenience. I'm not just someone's background noise. I'm someone's first choice. And that's worth everything.